Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of the Packard Network Live. Let me just get set up here. We're a little bit early by about 1 minute, so I'm going to start precisely at the top of the hour. Looking forward to what will probably be about a 20-minute live stream. So I appreciate everybody joining in the run up to the holiday, and you just make sure everything's going here. We're streaming to 4 net platforms right now, to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and my YouTube channel, the Packard Network. So okay, so I think we're ready to get started about right now. So good morning to those of you in Australia. I appreciate the notes that I got from you after announcing this. And a special thank you to those of you in Zambia and South Africa that have decided to actually stay up. I got some comments from some of you. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sorry about that, but I appreciate you staying up on this evening and tuning in. So I wanted to talk about 4 things today, and just some things that have been on my mind that I wanted to kind of put out there and set up for some of my programs coming up in the first quarter of the new year, which is right upon us. And the first one that I want to really talk about is resourcefulness, and how LinkedIn, how we can all use LinkedIn to really be a resource. And for those of you that follow me, you'll see that I regularly talk about how I've viewed LinkedIn I've been on LinkedIn, I don't know, maybe a decade. And I've always treated LinkedIn as kind of a place to collect my invaluable network, people that I've worked with, that I've known, that have been introduced to me, and something that's just been really tight. It's a really convenient place for that. And, you know, I started streaming, live streaming on this, I don't know, in the second quarter of this year, weekly programs. I've had guests from all over the world on here live, who I'm very grateful for. But about 2 months ago, maybe slightly more, I started viewing LinkedIn as a platform and a community and a library where a person can go to not just meet and network with other people, but to actually learn. And it's an invaluable library. I've met some incredible people in the last 10 weeks that I've already built, I think, great rapport with and trust. And so LinkedIn, to me, is a library for learning things through podcasts, live streams like this, posts that people do on a regular basis, in addition to networking. But it's also a place that you can do things. Okay. The other day I met a great person, David Alto, who helps people get jobs. And the things that he does to go the extra mile for his clients are just unbelievable. Okay. So there's so many different things that, if you're resourceful enough, you can really treat LinkedIn as a platform. You know, I had in my network, you know, three decades working overseas. I had about, I think it was something to the tune of 1,900 people in my network. And in the past 10 weeks, I've added another 1,000. Okay. So at this clip rate, I'll be up there. I'm not chasing a number, and I'll talk about what I look at in terms of who I look to build relationships with. That'll be my fourth point today. But LinkedIn is something that that is not, to me, it's not about growing in number. It's about giving and receiving information. It's a learning library, and it's a place that you can go to learn something new, and then taking that knowledge and applying that knowledge to giving information or your services to a wide network of people. It's an unbelievable place. And, this leads me, I posted something yesterday to, I was back in the 1970s. I remember I was with my father, and he told me, he said, Brett, and remember, this is the 1970s, way before the internet. He said, what's amazing is that we have radio waves from all over the world. They're all over our backyard. All we need to do is to put up an antenna to capture those radio waves. And we did it, and we could get entertained through the radio. To me, success is just like those radio waves all over your backyard. The success is something that all you need to do is to put up an antenna and get a receiver, and then you can get all of the information. And that antenna is LinkedIn. So view LinkedIn as not just a library that receives the signals, but you can also transmit and communicate what you know to the rest of the world. And it travels around the world literally in real time, like this live stream. So view it, be resourceful with LinkedIn, okay? Give and you will receive. Number two, I want to talk for just a couple of minutes about inclusive culture and unconscious bias. Okay. If you look at an inclusive culture, please don't view these things as buzzwords. There were I did a posting, I think it was yesterday, actually, and there was, some comments, which I really value. And some of those comments were around that some people view inclusive culture and unconscious bias, which I'll also talk about, as buzzwords, something popular to say, it's something trending and that type of thing. And I don't view it that way at all. I really could care less about, but I don't like any kind of buzzword, because to me, that's fake. It's not authentic. Okay. We have to be, those of us on the platform, we must be authentic, be ourselves, put ourselves out there, our vulnerabilities, and show people who we really are. Okay. I'll talk again about inner circle in a few minutes, and what I do to determine if I can really trust somebody. That's coming up in point number 4. But inclusive culture is it's really fully integrating diverse people into either the workplace or your friends. Okay. And it's about making them part of the community that you're in, whether that be the workplace or who you socialize with. And it's so important. And I'll talk about why in just a moment. Unconscious bias. Okay. Unconscious bias. In 2014, I was working for an Australian bank and running wealth division for Asia. And I was down in Australia at an executive meeting, and the CEO had brought in an expert to talk to us about and train us on unconscious bias. And admittedly, I kind of knew what it was, but not truly. And I really needed, in hindsight, I knew that evening when I was back at the hotel, I needed that training. Okay. Unconscious bias it's exactly what it says. It's subconsciously, based on our upbringing, our environment, people that we've been around, we do carry unintentionally, in most cases, these biases. And unless we're educated about what they are, we might apply them to decisions we make, or how we engage and communicate with other people. And it's very important that we understand, A, what it is, and B, manage it, because unconscious bias does not necessarily mean that a person discriminates. Okay. So it's important. I don't want to, in this live stream, get into a bunch of definitions. And the main point that I want to get across is that an inclusive culture for any business, or any person for that matter, it's very important to have a mindset of an inclusive culture, one where everybody feels that they belong, can contribute, and can perform at their full potential. You know, I have a very simple definition of culture in business, or personally, mainly in large businesses, where culture, in a very simple definition, is really how people feel. Both the employees or partners, as well as the customer, which is where money is made or lost. And if you have a disjointed culture, you're not going to make a lot of money in the long term. Your customers and your employees will eventually go away. Why is an inclusive culture important? Well, there's 3 reasons. 1, to make informed decisions. Okay. We all have to make decisions every day. Number 2, you'll get more diverse ideas from an inclusive culture. And number 3, you'll know the truth. Okay. Don't surround yourself with people just like you. Because if you do, and if you carry unconscious bias, which there's a high probability that you do, then you're only going to multiply the problem. So get that diversity around you in your culture. And these are things that I have people call me all the time to ask for advice on problems that they have in their business. And the start of the conversation is that they think their strategy is wrong. By the end of the conversation, 90% of the time, the culture has disconnects, and either people feel excluded, or they actually don't feel good. And so they go elsewhere. They resign. And you keep in mind that the good people, the best talent in the world, will always go to the best employers. Do you want to be one of those employers? Okay. So focus on an inclusive culture. Learn about unconscious bias. There are lots of resources on LinkedIn to help you do that. You can reference that in my news feed. I posted something last night. Sejal Thacker is there. She did a TEDx talk. You can access her, and you can just take your phone. Okay. This is your antenna to an incredible learning library. So learn it and do it. Okay. And your teams will have higher engagement and better performance. Your shareholder will be happy because a profit you make today will be here tomorrow. Okay. This short-term churning and burning and having high attrition and not treating people fairly. All of this stuff eventually has a cost of either redress, remediation, or some big problem where a profit, you make $1 today and you pay out 90 cents tomorrow in remediation. That's not a very shareholder friendly outcome. So that's why culture is so important. Okay. Number 3, courage. I was talking to a group of Asian women. These are women earlier this week. These are women that are highly capable. They have flourishing careers and they're just ready, and they know with confidence they can set the world on fire. Okay. They can go for bigger jobs. They can do these things, but there's a little bit of a hesitancy culturally with some people, not all people, but culturally where they work, where they don't feel as confident in the company as they do when they're talking to somebody outside the company. This is an example of what I just referenced of a disjointed culture where somebody feels that they can do better, but not where they're at. Okay. And these women are not in a position to change the culture. Okay. They can raise it. So I can predict what's going to happen. And although I'm not, well, I guess I am encouraging it. If it persists and their leadership doesn't do anything about it, they should go elsewhere. Okay. And these are some very large companies. Okay. And these people, these women that I'm talking about are in the top decile of performance. So these are people. So this message is also, I know that some of the leadership of these big companies in Asia will see this live stream from me. And so my message to you is you better fix your culture, or some of these top people, they're gone. I'm going to encourage them to go unless they get happy. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about, there's a woman named Kim Perrell, and she's in my network. She's incredible. You can read all about her. She has a new book out called Jump. It's an incredible book, and it in a nutshell talks about taking a leap into the unknown. Okay. And there's a lot of unknowns that we all have to deal with in the world, but this book talks about sometimes it's better to just take the jump, even if you don't know. You're prepared, you're ready, you know you're confident inside, but you haven't done it. Just do it. Jump. I recommended to these women that they get Kim's book immediately and read it. And I recommend all of you, it's a great book. She's a great person. You know, she was broke at 23 years old, Kim was, and she became a self-made millionaire at age 30. Now, if that's not successful, you tell me what is. So if you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. I go on a hunt for successful people, and I get close to them because, like a magnet, you know, you will eventually become like the people that you're around. Okay. This is my mindset on people, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but have a look at Kim. Okay. I recommend you get her book, read it, and I recommend you study her. She's all over YouTube. It's free. Again, get your antenna and learn about Kim. She's amazing, right? Kim believes that the difference between success and failure is execution. And I agree with that. Okay. To be successful in your career, your job, in life, you have to execute well, and you have to work hard with grit. Okay. And so study Kim, you'll learn a lot. Okay. Number 4, the goose. Okay. When I sent out this announcement, I started hearing from people, what are you going to talk about with the goose? Well, those of you that know me know that I always throw something in like this, and the goose. I'll talk about the goose right now. So, we all need an inner circle of people that we trust, people that we can count on, when in the 9th inning, to use a baseball analogy, or at the end of the second period in soccer or football, as most of my friends would call it, the round ball, not the oval ball. When the game is on the line, who can you count on? Okay. And I would also encourage the employees out there to look at your bosses and your leaders, and you should assess them. Okay. Many people have that I've spoken with earlier this week have said, yeah, it's time for the annual reviews are coming up and all of this stuff as well. Look, to me, I know that it's necessary in all of this, but privately, all the employees out there, what you should do is you should do a year-end assessment in your own mind on your boss. And if they make the grade, stay put. And if they don't, reach out and find a better boss. Okay. So I know I'm going to get some flack from some of the leadership out there that's even in my network, but maybe this will create a little bit of pressure to focus on improving the culture. Because if you can get the culture right and get everybody on the same on the same page, and get an inclusive culture, like I spoke about at the beginning, then what will happen is that you won't have to worry about any disjointed message between the top of the company and the customer, which is where all of the money is made and lost. So back to the inner circle. What I do to determine who I can trust and who I can count on is I have an inner circle, right? I never hire somebody that's afraid to tell me no. Now, I'm sure that all of you at one point or another have worked for somebody that they don't want to hear the word no. They want you to just confirm everything that they just want you to say yes to everything, make them feel good, right? Okay. That's not a great leader. Okay. A great leader does not punish his or her people for saying no or giving their opinion. Okay. So you have to be respectful. Okay. And how you deliver it becomes very important. But the best leaders in the world, and I'm one of those. Okay. I'm not afraid to have somebody tell me, Brett, you've got that wrong. Okay. If you're a leader and you don't have thick enough skin to take that no, then you have no business being a leader. You should actually fire yourself, right? And go to work for somebody. Leadership is not for you. So if you're a leader, okay, you've got to have people around you that you can trust, right? And to me, what I look for in everything regarding the selection process of those people that I want to put around me is the truth. So how do you determine the truth, right? You hire people with a diverse mindset and people that are different than you and people that are not afraid to challenge you and to say no. Don't hire people just like yourself. It's really important. So what about the goose? Well, the goose this is the goose that laid the golden egg. Do you want to hire the goose or do you want to take the golden egg? Okay. In the past 10 weeks, since I started getting active on LinkedIn, growing my network, there have been a few, not the majority. Okay. And so I want to emphasize a few that send a connection request and within 5 minutes, they either want me to get them a job, and I don't even know what kind of job they want, or they want to sell Bitcoin. Okay. To me, that's not the type of community that this platform is really for. So this platform is for building relationships with people that you can trust. To me, trust is everything. Integrity is everything. And this is not a place. Sure, you can meet people that sell Bitcoin. If that's what you want to do, great. Go out and attract them. But in my opinion, LinkedIn is not a place for somebody to connect and then start immediately selling you something when you don't even know who they are, right? So on your inner circle, hire the goose. Don't go for the golden eggs, which is the salespeople, the Bitcoin people that meet you and 5 minutes later want to sell you something. Those might be a golden egg. Maybe you can make a quick profit, but I'll hire the goose and accept the goose any day in my network instead of just letting the eggs in. Okay. Because I want the truth, and the truth can only come by building rapport with somebody and establishing a relationship. So that's critically important. And so there's two things that I do in deciding who I let in to my trusted network. And I'll tell you, I know a lot of people, right? But there's very few that I allow to enter the gate. I'm open to new connections and everybody starts fresh with me, but I look at two lenses. I'm looking for impact through two lenses. Okay. Lens number one is, what can I do for this person that I'd like to let into my inner circle? What can I do? And I'm all in. Okay. I will give them 110%. Lens number two, what can they do for me? Okay. Are they willing to also contribute to me? And if these two things are equal, then they're in and I'm in. And I mean, I am all in. They're going to get somebody in me that is a top talent with 30 years global experience across 30 countries, and they're going to benefit beyond belief. And I'm going to make them feel that impact. And the reverse is true, right? So it's the same thing. I know I'm going to get something from them, and it's not money, right? The marketplace always takes care of the money. So this thing about chasing money and chasing profits, I do not believe that. It's the antenna analogy. Put up the antenna and eventually success and money, you'll attract it. Okay. But install the antenna. You've got to construct it, put in the effort. Okay. But don't get on this platform and say, I'm going to make money right away, right? Because it doesn't work that way. So you've got to give and contribute something in order to have anything at all sustainable. Folks, that's it. I appreciate you tuning in today. And lastly, for those of you that are celebrating Christmas, Lori, my wife and I wish you a very Merry Christmas. Um, Season's greetings to everybody. A Happy New Year to everybody. Of course, I'll be back on when the Lunar New Year happens, when Diwali happens, and all of the other holidays as well for people around the world. But for now, season's greetings. I wish everybody a healthy, happy, and prosperous 2022. It's hard to believe that we're here. Make today your best day. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, so I believe in daily resolutions. So, but I still, and my wife Lori and I send our greetings for a wonderful new year. So for now, the Packard Network Live, I'll be back in early January. I'll be announcing the schedule with some wonderful guests weekly on the live stream to talk about how they designed their life for success and what that looks like and their advice giving back to you. And so I hope you'll tune in regularly to see these programs. And again, I'd like to thank all of the wonderful guests that I had in this year, 2021, to kick off the program. Fascinating people. I have the utmost respect for these individuals that were on my program, and so many of you did benefit from that. It was just an unbelievable when I would hear back from literally hundreds of people that were impacted by something they heard on this program. So without further ado, I promise to keep this short today. So thank you so much, and we'll see you again in the new year.